Welcome back to Sampstra Games, the place to find new strategy games, and today we're gonna play Grimshade. Now this is not a new game. Well, it is a new game, but it's not a new game by our standards. This game came out about a year ago on March 2019. But I kind of made a mistake. I thought it somehow was coming out this year, and then by the time I realized that it's actually not a super new game, I already played it and I quite like it, so I figured let's play it together anyways. So let's start a brand new game. Now this is a turn-based combat game, by the way, and it's a really cool. It has some pretty interesting combat mechanics, so I quite like it. Parts of the machine. It won't be long now. A few more days and the work of many lifetimes will bear fruit. I shall right the injustice, seize the light, and put a stop to all that madness. Perseverance is the key. Now what is to be your contribution, my friend? I don't know. Marvelous specimen, a dozen more like you, and my triumphs is assured. There's no stopping the inevitable. My legacy is to stand ever vigilant. Darn, what are those buffoons playing at? Darkness, take them. I was categorical about avoiding damage to the facilities. Number 11, present yourself at once. You didn't even give me a name? Come on. I'm supposed to go by number 11? If anything, I'd rather be number 5. That was a joke about a certain TV show. Illuminated be the path of the alchemists who gift us their blessing. In our darkest hours and times of doubt and sorrow, may the lodestar shine forth. The moment draws near, Lambent sisters. Let us be the embodiment of the guiding light to the people of Bran. Finally, with the lodestar complete after ages in the making, we shall perform our duty with the aid of miraculous power to heal the wounded, cure the ailing. In humble service of the people we walk upheld. Shala, light be praised. Shala, Shala, Shala. That was no accident. There's an intruder in our midst. Intruder, I sense your presence. You tread where you do not belong. Begone from this sacred place. We are no strangers to the darkness, foolish child, as you are no doubt aware. Oh, this little light show isn't for you. It's for what passes as guards in this hole. But do I forget my manners, ladies? Much apologies for interrupting the ceremony, but I'll be taking this little bauble for myself if you don't mind. Nothing personal, but I'd rather put it to good use than left to benefit a bunch of charlatans. No mere mortal may channel the power of the light. You'll bring ruin upon yourself. Its nature does. Yes, I've heard of that rigmarole before. Keep calm, sisters. Help is no doubt already on its way. As much as I enjoy such enlightened company, I fear I must cut this short. See you, my dears. Bye-bye. Oh. Then, the intruder, where is he? Aren't you a little late, son? They took the lodestar. Go to the guard, so I'm going to have a word with him about this. Inform the guard captain the relic must be found and returned to its rightful place. Yeah, I mean, a little late. But you know, the good thing about them is like they showed up so they can say like, wait, we tried super hard. It's not my fault that there was traffic, you know? Like there were horse carriages, we just couldn't get there in time. It's not my problem. What's going on outside, sorry? Trouble in the streets, a lot of confusion. Can't really tell what's happening. The square outside is full of soldiers. I'm sure I heard shots fired. What can I say to you, dusty old fool? I told you something bad was going on outside just to try and go out there again. I should point out, Mr. Glassington, that there's no mention of any arrest in these papers. Here, see for yourself. Front page news is about the name of His Majesty, the King. Good evening, Dorian. Didn't see you come in. It's the morning issue you've got there? The mess outside started not too long ago. This isn't good. Well, we should have candles somewhere. How long do you think this will last? I'm terribly afraid of the dark. There's so many people. I don't have that many voices, okay? I gotta start recycling. Oh, Mr. Charlie, a candle's really such a good idea. What if someone is attacking the city? What if they notice us? Seriously? Stop it with characters. Don't be daft, woman. Turn the lights back on for the love of, well, light. I had a winning hand here. Charlie, don't be a miser. Go fire up that backup ether generator. You've got stashed in the cellar, why don't you? Now, Philip, that was uncalled for. Let me just... You and your cards, Philip. The building could be up in flames. You'll still be placing bets and drawing hands. I wonder when things are going to quiet outside. Staying indoors would be best, I think. Getting mixed up in this unsavory business would be less than ideal. He's practicing for rapping. You know, he wants to be a rap star, but he's not good at it, so he's just practicing in his regular conversations. Please, friends, settle down. We aren't kicking anyone out. You're welcome to stay until it's safe to leave. Everyone here is our guest for the night. I will put some Tyon on the boil and give a poor Judy a glass of guar to calm the jitters. I don't want anyone waiting on me now. The lights are back on, light filling the streets will clear up soon, too. I just realized that it wasn't two characters because I was looking at the face. Her name Charlie. This was the same one, I just changed the expression, so I gave him two different voices depending on his expression. That could be a quirk of the character, you don't know. Dead, an anticipated setback, however time is going short. Can I get to combat please now? Number 11, get rid of that thing. I'm still on a name. Those in the corner to and clean this mess up post haste. Also, I changed my mind. I don't want to be number 5. I want to be the girl. I can say her name, right? Yeah, I want to be Vanya. I would rather be that. I mean, her power is epic. I mean, she kind of... No spoilers. And by the light, deliver one of the finer stock. If entire kingdom to select from. I don't know what I was thinking with number 5. I don't read number 5. It's just like, it was the first number that came to my mind out of those people, so I figured that would be the best way to make a reference.
Screeched as they pulled the curtain on the rotten, wobbly stage called Bran. No other future could await the kingdom that lies near the dark source. Just as it seemed that things couldn't get any worse, as the bloodthirsty monsters of shadow were surrounding the huge city, longing to devour the citizens, the army of Bespierre, a neighboring country, started the invasion. Dark times like these always nurture the burning hearts, thirsting for the truth. Coming to seek for it, the hero would start untangling the intertwined events, getting caught up in the threads of fate, like a restless kitten. The absolute turmoil makes it almost impossible to discover the truth. The inexperienced heroes would fall out of people's graces. They run and suffer, desperate to find out who's to blame for the misery, the injustice. Oh, miserables, what shall they do with their aspiration now? Chaos is ever daedal, depending on so many factors predetermined and certain, like time itself. But heroes would search for the villain persistently. They need a scapegoat to put the blame on. It is vitally important to find a reason for their heroic being. So, today, they chose me.
Love that. That was epic. And beautiful. And I mean, he's kind of right. I mean, heroes without villains are kind of boring. So instead of Alistair, this is going to be Was, after one of my newest patrons. That fall nearly killed me. If it wasn't for the gauntlet, I'd be... Good thing I finally got it to work. I wonder why now of all times. Ouch, it hurts all over. I must have fallen in the umbrage field. It's dangerous here. Gotta get moving while I still can. Also, you might want to stop talking to yourself. That's a little bit like a red flag, you know? Like, I'm not saying, like, you do you, but, bit of a red flag. Yeah, well, how do I get out? This way? Oh, that one. Oh, our first combat, finally. Okay. Been waiting for this. Alright, so because this is tutorial, you will actually not see everything in this game from the beginning, but you'll learn it over time. So, first thing you gotta do is you can use your combat skills. We've got a melee skill and a ranged skill. This is a melee skill, this is a ranged one, and you can only use... If you're in the back row and they're in the front row, they can't reach you, so you have to be kind of near for the melee attack and for the ranged attack. The way this works is that you do not have like an action point, but instead there's like a timeline kind of here on the bottom, and you move in the timeline depending on where you go. So each attack has sort of like a time how long it takes to go. This 10 for the melee and 5 for the ranged. So when I'm going to use that, I'm going to get plus 10 to my time, and like in 10 time steps I can play again. So for example, if the enemy has only doing something that takes him 5 time steps, he can do his action twice. So this is like, and I think it's really cool. It's a little bit different than the action points because it's a slightly different mechanic. I like it. Also, you can see here tension cost. We're going to talk about this later because it's not that important right now, but essentially you increase your tension, and if you get your tension to the highest level, like to 120, it's you get stunned for a turn, I believe, which is really, really bad. So the enemies can do some pretty high damage to you. So you want to make sure that that doesn't happen. So let's do the melee attack like we're supposed to. And you can see that this, well, actually we already won, but it would have moved through around there. Let's keep moving, go to the next combat. Okay, not yet. What in the... so many corpses? How? Hello, are you okay? Who are you? Can you hear me? My name is Voss. Help! What happened here? I don't know, sir. My head, it's so loud. I'll save the question for later. We're in the Umbridge Wheel and those creatures are all around. We have to go now. Do you understand? Can you walk? Yeah, sir. I'll try. That's it. You're doing great. Just stick behind me. This looks like a sewage water. If you go upstream, we're bound to reach the city walls. What's your name, kid? Donald, sir. I think. The name is Voss Garuda. At your service. Let's... hold on. What's got that on the ground? Looks like a gem of some sort. Maybe it's connected to this whole mess. Let me just grab that. Okay. This is just telling you the Grimshade is out of dialogue. I think you already figured that out. Like, I mean... Alright, now let's move. I mean, yeah. So this is now our party. We go together. Now the boy here, Donald, he's going to be useless for this entire episode because we're not going to get to the point where he becomes useful, but once he does, oh boy, he has some cool stuff. What he can do is he can switch between like a light and dark mechanic, which depends on, I believe, his tension level. I'm not 100% sure on that, but essentially he can switch between a light mode and a dark mode, and depending on which mode he's in, he does like a different kind of attacks and things like that, which is very, very cool. So, but we're not gonna see that in this episode, and I don't know if I'm gonna do multiple episodes. It depends on how popular this thing is. So just wanted to clear that. Now, if you wait or move, it will cost you 5 times units. So I just want to point out because it doesn't say so over here. And the characters have initiative at the start, which determines like the starting position. Then it depends on the actions that they do. Alright, so we're gonna do another melee attack here with Vass. And we won again. Again, pretty quick. But it's alright. As we move further, the combat's gonna get more difficult, so don't worry about that. Alright. Now, see, we cannot attack him with the melee attack, so this is now grayed out, so we have to use a ranged attack. By the way, if you hover over this, it will actually tell you how much damage. So this is 10 electric damage, and we gain 10 tension. We also have a spark effect. And right click to read more about it. So if, for example, we want to do what the spark does, on damage taken from the electrical damage attack, receive 3 electricity damage and increase tension by 3. So essentially, if we hit him again after using the spark, we can do additional damage. Now we're going to be doing, however, a range attack, which is 4 physical damage and 2 tension in direct range. You can also right click the enemy and see what they're strong and weak against. So the way this game works is that you can get like a weakness and resistance to a certain attack. So for example, this monster has a light weakness. So if you do light damage, you do 50% more than you would do normally. It has physical resistance, so for physical damage you do 50% less. And dark absorption, which means that all dark damage is turned into hell. And this is really important, because sometimes you can have like these dark monsters, and for example with your second character, so if you're in the dark mode and doing dark damage, you're actually just healing them up. So you really want to make sure that you don't do that. So we're going to use this, and we're going to shoot the enemy for 2 damage, okay? And then we're going to go with our other character, actually can't do anything, so we're just going to wait. And now the monster can do an attack on it. However, we managed to avoid that, which is quite cool. Also, another interesting point, because we have them in the same row, Vas is a sentinel, so we can protect characters behind him, which means if the enemies are doing like range attacks and things like that, they actually have to attack the character in the front and not the ones in the back, which is very, very cool. Now we're going to go with him again and use another range attack, which will allow us to kill the monster. Now, later on as we move through the game, not right now, we're going to see more of the tension, because a lot of these are kind of like very few shots for me, so we can't see that yet, because the tension is a really, really important mechanic. So later on, what you will be often doing is, for example, waiting, which will lower your tension, because it will, otherwise if the tension gets too high, it can be really, really problematic. So we're going to start this off with the shocking drive and like a melee attack to insta-kill this. Now we're gonna move closer with the character in the back, but it doesn't really matter. Because we're still in the same lane, Vas is protecting him. And then we'll go again with this character, because he just did something that didn't took less time. So it only took 5, so that's why he went twice, while if we're doing this, when we were doing this melee attack, it took 10. Okay? Now we're gaining the tension, but you can see that it doesn't show here in the bar. That's because we're still in the tutorial land. So I just want to point that out. Also, I should tell you that we've got our avoidance. And this is this tool that we've got over here. And what that does, it allows you to avoid melee and range skills completely. So essentially, like the first 2 hits we avoid completely. We also get armor, which is subtracted from any damage that the enemies do to us. But we don't have that yet. Now this thing down here is a shadow pool, and what that does is okay. Let me check if there's anything here. We've got some herbs and some black tar. Keep moving this way. See what else we can find. Okay, we gotta move upwards now. This way. Okay, let's go then. Also, depending on what kind of shield or armor you have, you're protected only against certain type of damage, not all types of damage. These monsters just don't know when to quit. I'll show them what a champion of Bran can do. Donald, get the door open, hold them off. On it. Let's go fight these guys. Move it, kid. They never learn. Darkness take them. Ready, sir? Alright, let's go. I'm not sure this can hold them for long. We have to keep moving. And quit it with the sir thing. It's just Vas, alright? Alright, Vas, sir. Didn't really stop at the sir thing, but we tried. Give him points for trying. Oh, that doesn't sound good. Looks like these guys done these doors. Weird, let's go fight the big one. Alright, so we'll start this off by using a melee attack at one of these. We're gonna go against this one. Now the dark pools, I didn't manage to talk to you through it. Pool of dark ethers on a cell. Every character which begins their action in the shadow pool receives 5 dark damage, which means that if the enemies move into it, they heal for 5. Because remember, for them, dark damage is actually healing. So this is just telling us that we should move Donald into a position where he can be hidden behind the sentinel, otherwise he can get hurt. So we definitely want to move him like into cover, otherwise, you know, bad things will happen. Okay, so we're just gonna move him here. Now he's protected. Now at the end of a round you lower your tension. I think I forgot to say that before. You can see it also over here. Tension decay is 15. All characters restore their avoidance token. So we're gonna go here with our main character and do a regular melee attack here. So we kill them off. We killed an Umbridge with 1 hit. This hasn't happened before. This is a secondary effect caused by the combination of his attack and status effect. But first we need to take a look at damage types. We talked about damage types. There are total 8 different types. So we've got physical and then fire, water, air, sand, light, electric, dark. Regular physical damage is blocked by armor. Ether-based attack, ignore armor and do damage of one of the 7 types. And then we talk about the weakness, resistance, absorption, and immunity just reduces it to 0. So we already talked about that. So the Umbridge is resistant to physical damage, hence his revolver only does half the damage. Alistair's staff does 10 points of electric damage, applies to spark status. Okay. Yeah, and then it's talking about the spark, so we already know that. We're not gonna do anything with the other character. I have to use the range attack again. I do believe that the waiting also reduces tension. We might want to test it out. So we're gonna test it out now. Yeah, see, just waiting lowers the tension by 5. So it's a reasonable strategy in this game. It may not seem like it. Like, again, we are very much at the beginning, so I can't really show you off everything, but it's a pretty big deal. The tension is a really big deal in this game, and you have to think it through when you're playing. Because if you just forget about it, and if you having that one turn where you're like stunned, it's really, really bad for you. I don't know what's got them so focused on us. They must be drawn by the ether in my crystal gauntlet. I'm scared, Vass. There you go, you got the Sir part right this time. We've got a champion of Brown to protect you. Killing the Umbridges is our job. Let's keep moving. Alright, another combat here. Alright, so we're just gonna do a regular melee attack first, as always. Wait with Donald. This is the first avoidance. Now the avoidance, avoiding the attack does increase tension on us, so that's... Actually, you know, it depends on the attack. It's not the avoidance itself, it's the type of an attack. If the attack gives us tension, we get that tension even if we avoid the attack. Keep waiting. And I'll keep using our range attack as always. Right, we won again. Let's go look into these boxes. Find meta sheet and meta junk. Now this seems like you can level him up, but you actually can't. You have to wait till like the events allow you to do that. I can, okay. I can click on it now, never mind. Darkness breaks you. It's a dead end. I don't see any switches. Alright, keep your cool, we'll think of something. To be totally honest, I'm nearly at my limit, Donald, but don't worry, I've been through worse. Come and get me. Yeah, okay, so this is we started with the super high tension so the tutorial can show it to you. You could also lower tension with the special character skills, and after recovering from a knockdown, tension is reduced to 0. Okay, so we're gonna start off with the strong hit here. And you can see we're almost over the top with the tension, so we're gonna have to like rest to do things like that. Actually, yeah, okay. So you can, I was gonna say, I'm just gonna try to not do anything so I can show you, but you can see it here. We enter a knockdown. This happens when a character's current tension is raised above their maximum. While in this state, they're unable to perform actions for a period of 20 time units. So essentially, it's like he's stunned. He loses the ability to avoid attacks and also the defender's abilities, which is why this could now attack Donald, because this guy's just like not working as protection. And we also get the grayed out thing over here so we can see it. So this is why it's like super important that you do not let that happen. We'll keep on waiting. Right, now the good thing about the knockdown is that then the tension resets to 0. So there are probably situations where it's better, like you have, for example, 100 out of 120 tension, and you know that, with the waiting you're never really gonna get it down in time. So you're just gonna enter that knockout, because it can get you to 0 and then you can use some good stuff. So there are times when it's a good idea, but yeah. Now this is just telling us about the skill speed, so it's telling us that sometimes when the enemy is low health, it can be a good idea to use like a low quick actions, so that you might be able to hit them with like multiple hit actions. We could finish them off instead of doing like one big long action. So that's also something you just want to be looking at, like would I rather use attacks that are quick and I can do multiples of them, or would I rather use attacks that are slow but they do more damage? So essentially what I really like about this game is like the different options and mechanics in the combat. And with all the like different light damage, it really allows for a lot of complexity as you move into the game. Again, we're very much at the start, so we don't really see much of that. But as you're gonna move through the game, you're gonna see a lot more complexity in this, like what kind of attacks you have to do and things like that. And maybe like you have one character who's really good at this, and oftentimes you might only have one character who's doing really high damage because the enemies are like defended against a lot of different types. So, but I think we're gonna end the episode here. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, write down in the comments, and you can click on the right to watch some other turn-based combat games. I'll see you there. Bye bye.